Here's one of my favorite photographs of vintage Bryn Athyn. The photograph was taken from an airplane that was flying right over the runway at what was then called Pitcairn Airfield. At bottom right in the foreground you can see a whole bunch of vintage cars lined up and parked, but we will talk about that later. Off to the left in the foreground you can see a stand of trees that is right near the home where Jared Youngie lives right now. And then you can see the barn and other structures of what was then Cairnwood Farm. Off in the distance you can see a white structure that I believe was owned by Harold Pitcairn for purposes of work on his aircraft. Just behind that structure is the intersection of what was then Buck Road and Paper Mill Road, now Tomlinson Road. Off to the left you can see three roads: Buck Road, Dale Road going off at a diagonal, and then Paper Mill Road a little beyond that. In the rear, off to the left, we can see what is Molly McDonough's house today. And then if we come back toward the camera, across Dale Road, which appears in white, we can see the two homes along Buck Road. The one on the right belongs to Barry Halderman, and the one on the left belongs to Stephen Morley today. Now, if we zoom out and head west, we will come to the campus of the Academy of the New Church. Here we can see the three connected buildings with Benade Hall in the middle, DeCharms Hall beyond, and the old library, or what is now the Fine Arts Building, toward the left. Now if we move off toward the left, we can see two other structures: the old high school boys' dormitory, Stewart Hall, in the foreground, and the dining hall just beyond it. If you look closely to the left, you might be able to see a lighter colored road that wound along the campus, around behind the dining hall back in those days. Now if we zoom back out to Cairnwood Farm, if you look to the right, you'll see a very straight path through the fields, leading from the farm all the way out to Paper Mill Road. What a good shortcut that was for kids who wanted to go swimming or skating at the pond back in those days. Now let's come back to our original view and reconsider all of those vintage cars that are lined up parking in the field. What were they doing there? Just before we do that, let's zoom in on the location where the Mitchell Performing Arts Center stands today, the location of what used to be called the Assembly Hall, which was built in 1926. There is no assembly hall in this photograph, so we know that it predated 1926. Those cars were lined up and parking for an air show. They had traveled in off the pike by a dirt driveway that ran all the way around to this location. To close out this short video about a favorite old aerial shot of Bryn Athyn, I'm going to show you some footage of that air show. And here it is. Here we are flying northwest over the pike. You can see the old hangar that no longer is there. You can see the barn that is now Glenpenny Farm Barn. That house used to stand right behind what was Charlie Cole's house, but what is now Ken and Glenn Schroeder's house. And now we're flying over the driveway that led out to the pike. There's the hangar again. Look at those old biplanes. There's the airstrip. There's all those cars that were parked. Now you can see Cairnwood off to the right and the cathedral just beyond it. Now we're flying north over the hangar and the runway. The Schroeder's house would be on the right. There's the cathedral, obviously. Wouldn't it be nice? There's the Academy of the New Church. You can see the area that is now the property of Ron and Kathy McQueen. That's southbound on the pike. Thanks so much for watching.